evening. My name is Catherine All, and on behalf of the League of Women Voters of Kitsap, I want to welcome you to the North Kitsap Board Directors District 4 Virtual Candidate Forum. The forum for candidates running for District 2 and 5 will follow after this one. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization that doesn't support or oppose political parties or candidates. But we do have a basic belief that our form of government depends upon the informed and active participation of its citizens, which is why we try and do these forums every year to help educate the voters. The candidates, in order they will be on the ballot in the primary election, are Beverly Godfrey, Adam Salazar, Terri Schumacher, Bill Longworth, and Teresa Case. And the rules, just so the public know, you will all have been given 1.5 minutes to make an opening statement, and then I will ask questions that have been submitted by the public, and candidates will have 1 minute to respond to each question. And then at the end of the forum, each candidate will have 1.5 minutes to make a closing statements. Please keep your eye on the digital timer. Each one of you deserves our thanks for stepping up and running for office. Please be respectful of each other. You each deserve that. Okay, let's get started. We'll begin with our opening statements. And Beverly, you get to go first.
All right. Okay, the reason I'm running for our school board is because I'm passionate about finding ways to help all kids succeed now and in the future. Parents send their kids to school to make friends, show respect for everyone, and learn the basic academic subjects, reading, writing, math, science, geography, history, and learn how to apply them, what they learn, to the real world. Some kids come with special needs, and we should strive to provide accommodations for them. We need to stop adding more and more topics to the teacher's plate. Over the years that I've been teaching, I have heard many teachers say, "It's June and I still haven't had enough time to teach all the math concepts." Well, those kids didn't get any geometry that year, or they complained they couldn't get to the science lessons. So once again, those kids didn't get any physical science lessons. The school board is a team of public servants who represent our community. And as a board member, I will listen and help make decisions that will be best for families and students.
Okay, thank you. Adam.
Hi, Adam Salazar. I'm running for school board because I wanted to help our community to navigate the difficult conversations that our society is facing today. I want to do that with reason, great consideration, even-mindedness, and try to take some of the temperature out of the divisiveness in our culture by listening to people and recognizing that we all want the best outcomes for our kids, even if we may disagree about how to achieve them. Some of the challenges our kids are facing today, we could not have previously imagined. Rates of anxiety and self-harm have increased at unprecedented rates since 2009. There's a precipitous rise in the students' own sense of their own fragility, and combined with the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, this generation unfortunately is graduating and beginning adulthood more unprepared for adulthood than any in modern history. It's my intention to reestablish the sense of earned self-worth and competency that kids can get through school, and to help kids become strong and prepared to excel at school life and beyond. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Terri.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting this forum, everyone watching at home, and my fellow candidates. I'm honored to stand before you thanks to the support of my family, campaign volunteers, my endorsers, including the North Kitsap Teachers Union. I moved to Paulsbo in '95 after falling in love with a sailor. We bought a home, created a salon, and started a family. I served as board president of the historic downtown Paulsbo Association with other local business owners. For 28 years, I have built relationships with every facet of the North Kitsap School District, from students, parents, staff, and previous board members. As a business owner, I have run a successful salon in a competitive industry, hiring and mentoring staff, walking the fine line of clients' and providers' needs, balancing the budget, forecasting future consumer trends, and adapting accordingly. My husband and I have 2 kids. Our oldest recently graduated, and our youngest enters high school this year. We are proud to call North Kitsap School District our home. We have witnessed the dedication of staff members that go above and beyond, making sure all students reach their full potential. It is in support of the students, family, and staff that I wish to be your new director. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and Bill.
Good evening. I am Bill Longworth. I am running for school board because I have 2 kids in elementary school, part of the North Kitsap Options program. And I am concerned that the community is not being heard by the board and the superintendent. And as well as they're not transparent in how decisions are made and engaging the public prior to the decisions being made. Moved up here in 2016 after retiring from the Navy as a senior chief petty officer. In my naval career, I have extensive experience in leading as well as being parts of teams in very challenging situations and making critical decisions that have vast impacts both to individuals as well as larger groups. I definitely want to listen to the community. I pledge that I will, and I want to routinely engage with the community to keep up with the community's concerns as well as other ideas to make the entire school district better in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Teresa.
Good evening. I'd also like to thank my fellow candidates. I spent 37 years as a registered nurse in our local hospital. And so I feel that I have a pretty good foundation, maybe have been the labor nurse for a lot of these adults that are in our community now. I was asked to run for a school board as they feel that I have the skill set that, as we've noticed, our current school board has the opportunity to regain the trust of the community. Anytime you get a vote of no confidence, that's an opportunity to look at your processes. I feel that I'm a great facilitator. Building bridges is what I've done in all my years of nursing, that once you're a nurse, you just can't take that out of us. I believe in serving my community. I'm currently on the medical corps, and so I care about kids. I'm a good listener. I'll work for that open line of communications, and I will ask the tough questions that need to be on the table so we can all be part of the solution and putting our kids first. So I thank you in advance for your support, and I will work hard and put those kids at the center of each decision that is made.
Okay, thank
And I
you.
have 10 seconds. Okay, I'll donate 10 seconds.
All right, so let's begin with the questions now. The first question is kind of a general one. Who does the school board work for, and who does the superintendent work for? And Adam, you get to go first on this one.
Okay, well, I don't need multiple choice on this one. Thanks for the question. The school board works for the citizenry. We're elected officials. Power flows from the people to the government, and that's the way that it should be. So in effect, everyone that's voting right now is our bosses, or we hope to become our boss, and the superintendent works for the school board. My hope is that it's a collaboration, that there's mutual respect, and certainly you want to select a superintendent who you can rely on for their expertise, but ultimately, you are their boss, and it's your job to make sure that they are enacting what the polity wants, and that's what we're here for.
Okay, thank you. Terri?
The school board adopts and revises the budget. They approve the policies and curriculum and policies. I'm sorry. They monitor the district's progress towards its goals. They essentially, though, work for the public. They serve as community representatives. It's the job of the school board to report to the public and work with them, and for the superintendent to work for the board. Thank you.
Okay,
Excuse me.
thanks. Bill?
The school board, as Adam mentioned, school board works for the public, just like it does the rest of our representative republic that we have in the United States. And the school board answers to the public to make sure that they are doing what the public wants. The public then employs the superintendent and the rest of the district administrative staff. They are the ones that actually execute the vision and the guidelines the school board comes up with and implements.
Okay, thank you. Teresa?
Well, I agree with everything my colleagues have said here tonight. We do represent the community. We are their voice. I'd also like to say we're advocates for the teachers and the students and the parents. And our objective is to measure outcomes. So we look at performance improvement, and we are responsible for our one employee is the superintendent. So that requires hiring, supervisions, evaluations on that. So thank you.
Okay, and Beverly?
Well, I agree with what everybody has said. The job that we need to do is do a better job of keeping the public informed on the needs and the progress of the education system and the evaluation and what's being done when the evaluations aren't as high as we'd like to see them. We also select and evaluate the superintendent.
Okay, good job, everybody. The second question is, how would you engage and involve parents, students, staff, and community members in the decision-making process of the school board? And Terri, you go first on this one.
I would definitely start by getting the parent committees, the community committees formed again. We used to have robust committees with active community involvement. So I'd start with committees and panels. I also would put an outreach out to the community. I've gone and talked to several groups already, and I would continue to do that. I would continue to meet people on their turf, where they feel comfortable, where they are without fear of retaliation and can talk to me openly and honestly. Thank you.
Okay, Bill?
Excuse me. As far as parent and community involvement and engagement, it is all about communication. You have to build the relationships to build a trust between the board as well as and the community. And to do that, the committees like Terri had mentioned are definitely a good starting point. I also, if elected to the board, I would make myself available routinely and regularly for meetups at various points in the community. So again, we can meet on individuals' comfort levels, so that way they have the ability to communicate their needs, desires, and concerns to the board in an effective manner.
Thank you. Teresa?
Again, I think we have so much in common with each other, everyone that's running tonight. We do have to figure out how can we engage with the community that is almost effortless. So it's organic. So it's like we're having a conversation. And so that means being available where they are. Parents maybe will stop in and have coffee, or after school, I don't know, before school, where you need to be creative, or something as simple as, I had a hard time trying to find activity from board meetings and etc. So how can we be very transparent and use social media in a good way to be part of a solution and pull us together? So I'm all about asking them too, what can we do? Putting a poll out there. How can we keep you informed? What's the best way you'd like to have information? But I think we have to regain the trust, and that's face-to-face conversations out there in the community.
Thank you. Beverly.
I really agree on the face-to-face conversations, and it's been very difficult with the COVID closures and with parents being nervous about coming to the school and just dropping in to talk to their teachers and have those kind of casual conversations. We need to start with opening up that conversation first, getting those teachers and parents talking to each other, and then the school board can be more available. And I don't just mean by email. I mean, like a lot of you have said, we need to be out in the public. We need to be talking with people. And it doesn't always have to be in a school building. It can be wherever they're available. And I do think we do too much communicating through social media, and it leads to misunderstandings. We need time to really have a conversation so both sides can be respected and heard what they have to say. And oftentimes you learn the story behind them.
Okay, thank you. Adam.
Yeah, so I think everyone's on the same page about outreach being really important. It needs to be more proactive. We cannot wait for parents and families to come to us. We need to make it our business to be coming to them. And I think the first point of contact for people is really the teacher. And so first, we need to increase the lines of communication from families to the teachers. We need sort of informatics solutions that people are able to interface with that. Like with my doctor, I have my chart. You know, we can have a little conversation that way. So I think, and then we need to be listening to the teachers because they're really interfacing with the families, and you know that's going to kind of come up the food chain. The other thing is we need to sort of keep office hours, just like a professor might. It needs to be published. Hey, I'm available from this time to this time. Come see me, come call me. And then the last thing I'd like to say is we need to continue to have Zoom meetings, and they need to be recorded because people have requested that.
Okay, thank you. All right, the next question is, school board meetings are governed by state law, but a lot remains up to the discretion of the school board. Do you support full discussion of issues at public meetings? And would you change the public comment process? And Bill, you get to go first on this one.
Right. As far as the public, I'll address the last one first. The public comment process currently is very limiting. You have half an hour right before the board meeting to sign up to do it. And it's at a time where a lot of working parents and community members are unable to do that. That is very restrictive and needs to be changed. And I will strive to do that if and when I become a board member. As far as open discussions during the board meetings, I believe some open discussion during board meetings is good. We have to be cautious about it though. I think open discussions for specific topics that are called out for during the agenda or on the agenda would be opening, but as far as discussions during the public comment period, things along those lines would have to be discussed amongst the board and with community input, obviously, to figure out the best solution to move forward.
Okay, thank you. Teresa?
I agree that we need to facilitate more open access to having people share with the board what their issues are. We need to figure out how we can do that so it's not a barrier trying to be at a certain time to submit a certain question in advance. So I also understand there's privacy laws, that not everything that the school board candidates, we're candidates, but if we're on the board, we have to talk about some people issues sometimes, and we have to respect their privacy. So as long as we're not violating any privacy laws, I think we need to push out more information to get more input so they can be part of a solution. Because if we don't have all the puzzle pieces, I'm left to kind of figure out, and I'm going to maybe come away with a different idea. So I'm all about transparency, getting access, and like we've all said, please knock down the barriers so the people can communicate openly and we can restore trust and collaboration with our district.
Okay, Beverly?
I agree with what Bill was saying about how we need to have more time for public comment to a school board meeting. Most districts in this area have the sign up period open for 24 hours before the school board meeting. And that seems reasonable to me, especially since it's all done electronically now. Also, I do think that we need to not necessarily repeat or comment. In fact, I don't even think we can comment when people come before the board to talk. We need to let them say what they have to say. They only have a few minutes to do that. And there are going to be some issues that need to be discussed, like Teresa said, like personnel that you don't do publicly. But when there's decisions to be made that the public can have some input on, committees are a great way to get started on doing that.
Okay. Adam?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what my peers are talking about. I think the 24-hour period is kind of a no-brainer in terms of signing up to take part in these. I think, some of these school board meetings, there's a lot of procedural things that need to kind of get done. Some of it is, seemingly mundane, and some of it is, kind of really important to keep a pace with. I think it might be a good idea to sort of designate certain meetings when we know that there's going to be, a public interaction with, people that are going to feel strongly about some things. Set up certain meetings that we know, hey, this is going to be more of an open forum. We'll make it longer. We'll make it more accessible. And then we can kind of handle the housekeeping at the other meetings.
Okay. Terri?
Thank you. Public comment is set up to be not a monologue. It's not set up to be a dialogue, a discussion with more people on the board. So my conflict with it right now is the fact that we limit it to 10 minutes. I'm sorry, to 10 speakers. But when we want to address something with the board, when something's truly wrong, they should be able to come to the board. There should be as much discussion that's necessary to address the issues that are coming forward. And for some people, we need to keep in mind, and I'm sure all of us are aware of it right now, public speaking is very difficult. It's intimidating, especially for our non-English speakers, to come in front of a board. And if that's the only place you have to address your issues, speaking in front of the board is, it's not a place that a lot of people feel comfortable. So we need to make an invitation for people to talk to the board and discuss their issues at length. Thank you.
Okay. All right. The next question is, what strategies would you employ to foster a positive and inclusive school climate where diversity is celebrated and students feel safe and respected? And does North Kitsap have an Office of Equity? But the main question is the first one. And I have to call on somebody, Teresa.
Well, I would hope North Kitsap would have a looking at all their pillars as far as the pillar number 3, as far as ensuring all students have equitable access to a vigorous and relevant curriculum so that they can basically see themselves in it. So I will also be a person that can bring my background as a registered nurse dealing with all different cultures. But I find it's most helpful to ask them ways that we can kind of understand one another, celebrate what we do have in common while appreciating our differences, and learning that from curriculum standpoint, we need to make sure that each individual sees their own success. And that includes story problems. Can I make it relevant for that particular culture? And when we talk about coming together, many times I think people should embrace the differences as opposed to go, oh my gosh, that's different. I don't know what to do.
Okay, time's
So
up.
healthy dialogue. Thank you.
Beverly?
Yes, well, one of the things that we could do is, of course, teach the kids how to interact and ask questions, how to express their opinions, even in school, in the classroom, so that it starts at the teacher's level instead of going right to the school board when there's a problem. If there's a problem with this, with the bus driver, or a problem at the school level, we need to learn a better way of opening up those communications and really listening to people's stories. I've taught a lot of kids that are non-English speakers, and they need time to explain and to show the situation and why they're concerned. It's not something that they can just tell you in a few seconds for 5 minutes at recess or something. So I kind of agree that we need to find some way to get more office hours where school boards and teachers and administrators are open and the public knows it.
Okay. All right, Adam?
Yeah, so I think the question is, generally about sort of DEI topics. I mean, diversity, I think it's just a huge strength. We are a diverse community and it's getting more diverse. Equity in this context means access to a right. It's enshrined in our state constitution that, every child is supposed to be educated to the utmost of our ability. And that inclusion is a right. I want to emphasize our common humanity in that pursuit. There's a quote by Paul E. Murray, when my enemies draw a circle to exclude me, I shall draw a larger circle to include them. And I think what that does is it not so much emphasizes our differences and belabors our differences, but let's really focus on what we have in common and our common goals together.
Thank you. Terri?
Thank you. We have 40% diversity in our community, and we're lucky that we have the Suquamish tribe and the Skollam tribe nearby. Diversity makes us a healthy, strong community. I'm not aware of us having a diversity panel. I would strongly support getting that. As I've been going out and talking with the community, there's lots of community members that are willing to step up to the plate to be on this panel. There's a lot of outreach occurring from the Suquamish tribe. They would like to host us at their museum. They would like to host the Skollam tribe offered at their longhouse. So we need to embrace those opportunities and take advantage of them whenever we can. We also need to bring the members to decision making. Thank you.
Thanks. Bill?
Can you repeat the question for me again, please?
Yeah, it's what would you do to foster a positive and inclusive school climate where diversity is celebrated and students feel safe and respected?
Okay, so for a positive climate, climate change in an organization is very difficult. I've gone through that several times in my experience, and it's a challenge no matter what age or what group you're doing it with. The first step of that is to reinforce, encourage, and then hold accountable, treating everybody with respect. That is the number one thing that needs to happen. And I think that's a thing that has gone by the wayside, unfortunately, over the last few years, partially because of the limited interactions between people, thanks to COVID. If we can reinforce that treating everybody with respect, the positive climate will come around, and kids, students, teachers, the rest of the staff, the public will feel safer in the schools to be able to share challenges as well as successes to each other. Thank you.
Thanks. Next question. How would you improve the relationship between the district and the tribes? Beverly?
Well, I am really thrilled to be living right here in North Kitsap with two nations on either side. And I think that one of the things we need to do is offer those kids any opportunity that they might need to do as well in school as they can. And it's not usually a language barrier, it's more of a cultural. And as we get to know them and their traditions, then we understand and look for ways that we can integrate those into the classroom.
Thank you. Adam?
Yeah, well, representation is usually beneficial. Anytime you have, a huge presence like the tribe, that are, such a landmark in this area, they have to have seats at the table. It's really important that we're in collaboration with them and that we're really seeking their voice on things because they understand the issues in their community. The way that we can liaise with them is just so crucial. And just the other thing is, identifying people who are underserved. If there are kids who are not getting the same kind of access, we need to be able to identify those kids, whether they're in the tribe or whether they're somewhere else. We need more mechanisms to try to identify and intervene.
Okay, thank you. Terri?
It takes work to make this happen. It takes willingness to go out and meet them. The Squamish tribe is a very welcoming, embracing tribe. I went and met with them and asked them how I could learn about their culture as a candidate, and they took me around. They showed me their land. They talked to me about their culture. They shared with me what's important to them. In 3 hours, they had a lot to say. They invited me to come back as well, so we can talk about what it takes for an outreach, or we can actually get out there and do the outreach. So I'm very pleased to have met the members of the council and to have that opportunity. Thank you.
Thanks. Bill?
I believe everybody has had good points as far as getting the tribes more involved with the decision making. They have a unique perspective of their own cultures that then those of us that are outside of those cultures can learn about through the working with them, the team building and aspects to come up with the decisions that benefit not only the tribes but us, the rest of the community as well. Because I believe there is a lack of good engagement with the local tribes as far as the teaching of their history from their point of view, not just the European point of view with the people coming into the area. That there's a lot of rich history in this area that needs to be shared, and that's a great way to do that is working with the tribes, get them on board, discuss the issues, identify the challenges, and then put actions into place that will address those challenges.
Okay, and Teresa?
I would agree with everything that my colleagues have said. I've had the privilege many years ago, back in the 80s, of working in the S'Klallam tribe as my public health rotation for PLU. And you cannot go wrong by putting yourself out there, being vulnerable yourself, saying, I don't have the solutions, but please guide me. What can we do to support your community, your students, your tribe? And we've got community health advocates that I had worked with. I know there's advocates for the tribal community. We just need to reach out, whoever owns the position of power, and that would be a member of the school board, to go and grease those connections so we can gain a better understanding and collaborate. So it would be an honor and a privilege for me to go work with the tribes again.
Thank you. Okay, next question, and this is almost a yes or no answer, but you can say more if you want. Should the school board meetings be recorded and posted on the website? Adam?
Yes, emphatically yes. I mean, the reason for that is because that's what people are asking for. And I understand that there are some technical demands on that. I understand that, that takes, some extra work, but hey, I mean, this is a way for us to share our message and what is going on with the public, which I think everybody here is right at or near the top of their list of the issues that people are saying. That's one of the number one things that people are saying is we cannot move the needle with the school board. And this is a simple fix, I think. One of the good things that have come out of COVID is that we've advanced our outreach in that way with Zoom, and they should be recorded. It's a no-brainer.
Okay, Terri?
We used to record them, so we need to get back to recording them. We see how easy it is to record this Zoom meeting today. So thank you, BCAP and the League for recording this. Well, those for watching home on Zoom for our board meetings, we need to be able to hear the guest speakers. We can't hear them when we can't see them. So that needs to be improved for quality. Thank you.
Okay, Bill?
I will completely and wholeheartedly agree. Meetings need to be not only televised via whatever methods are available, but also recorded and posted for the transparency in how things are operating. Like Adam mentioned, that's one of the biggest things that I am hearing is that there is a severe lack of understanding of why decisions are being made and who in fact is saying yes and no to certain decisions. So the ability to go back and view votes when decisions are being made and having go along with the recording an accurate set of minutes from the meeting as well. So that way we have it not only video, but we have a written document as well to be able to point at and say, hey, here's where the issues are, here's the decisions, here's the things that were discussed, and here's how and why we made the decisions we did.
Okay, Teresa?
Yes, and I agree with all the wonderful suggestions. We just need to communicate so we can regain the trust.
Okay. Beverly?
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised to find that I could download the PowerPoint that was presented at the last school board meeting that had all the data on the latest test scores. So there is some ways to do that now. And I agree that we need to get the Zoom part of the meetings more clear so anyone can hear exactly what's being said and what the guests are having to say too, because sometimes it is the volume or the technology to make it work isn't working as well as it should. The other thing is that school board meetings, the speakers used to stand on the side and then speak to the school board. And I've noticed now they stand in front of the audience, and it's oftentimes you can't see their face, so you don't know the expressions, and they are kind of blocking you to be able to see the school board. I think that would be a simple way to address that issue is by just moving the podium back to the side.
Okay, thanks. All right, next question. Do you agree with the district's approximately $5 million purchase of land off of Finn Hill while still owning 2 other properties? Terri?
I don't understand why we purchased this property. So without full understanding, I find it difficult to support. Thank you.
Okay, Bill?
Understanding that the other land that the district currently has needs to be redeveloped in some way in order to make it more useful for the district, as well as the future growth of the North Kitsap community is mainly going to be in the community of Paulsbo, the greater Paulsbo area, on the west side over here. It's going to be, I can understand why they would want to make the purchase now versus in the future. It costs less. They can want better ideas for plans, long-term plans, things along those lines. But I think the ability to redevelop the schools that they already have that are not being used currently needs to take a higher priority over building something new on the new land now.
Okay, Teresa?
Well, I'm going to have to say I don't have all the puzzle pieces, all the information needed to make an informed decision on this. So I would have to do some due diligence and research. I would think that, like they said, there trying to be planful of the future for future generations. But again, I am unable to make a comment until I would dig further information.
Okay, thanks. Beverly?
Well, I understand Pearson needs to be replaced. It's just not big enough and it's not modern enough to handle the electronics that are needed now. So they're going to have to build something. And I don't have all the statistics of why they bought that specific property, but I do know that's where the growth is in the Paul downtown area.
Okay, and Adam?
Yeah, thanks everyone for allowing me to show my what I don't know as well. I think that's really important to be honest about it. I don't have a great grasp of that situation, but just from hearing what people are saying, I know that rehabilitating old buildings, sort of as Beverly said, that can be prohibitively costly as well. There's an opportunity cost. We have needs right now. We have budget constraints right now. So there is an opportunity cost to buying that land. But if I was to advise anybody, what's a great investment, especially in this area, it's not going to be depreciating. The cost of doing business is only going up, I think, as Bill said. So I think that's a sound long-term strategy. And, we are going to have to accommodate, I think, quite a lot more population growth. So we better get ready for it.
Okay. And this is sort of associated, but not quite. Do you support the current board approving placing a bond on the February ballot, or should a newly elected board approve it for the February or April ballot? Bill?
I believe the current board probably has the best information as far as the historical information to figure out what is needed for the money to help run the district. I also believe that a new board, the new members on it, would give a fresh look at those numbers as well and try to maybe balance the budget a little bit better. Based on the numbers that I've seen here recently, of historical spending and how much deficit spending we've been doing, the district has been doing, I see 2, maybe 3 years before, unless major changes happen, before the district has to declare bankruptcy. And that's very scary for me because that means the state would then come in and run the district, taking the control out of the local community and back to the state level. So I think there needs to be a balance between the old board and the new board to be able to make the best decision possible.
Okay, Teresa.
Well, like anything political, the timing is a challenge. So I would say that I would trust the current board. They made the best decision given the timeline that they had. Recognizing whenever you are new to the board, I'll just speak to myself, there is a huge learning curve. And so ballots have to be timed in order to get initiatives for the voters. So I support their efforts, but I also agree with Bill. It's a great time to have a new look at how are we doing and looking at balance that budget sheet and being creative with resources, fiscal, because budget is tight. My big platform is our state does not fund education the way I see it should be funded. But that's bigger than our school board at this point. But I agree that we need to look at the bottom line. Thank you.
Time's up. Beverly?
I agree that the school board that is present should probably be the one that presents that because it's coming up so soon in February. If the board doesn't really take over till December, the new members, that wouldn't be enough time to really have a big positive impact on that.
Okay, Terri? Or no, Adam, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with what Beverly just said. I mean, I imagine that there's probably some urgency with which to act. And, I think Teresa mentioned there's a lot that we're going to have to familiarize ourselves with upon getting into the job, I think that the current board has the right to do what they're doing. They were elected, and the people elected them, so it's really a democratic to let them do their job.
Okay, Terri?
I think it's imperative that we have a smooth transfer of leadership from one board to the next. With that said, I can't say that I support the rush for this bond. We have a decreasing enrollment. A school isn't going to come up overnight. That's a long-term project. So that's what I'm assuming the bond is for with the new property. What school is going there? What students are going there? I have only heard one rumor that it might be Pearson that is relocated. Will Pearson parents want to relocate there? There's a lot of questions. So I would hope that after the primary, we would get to see that budget as candidates. I actually hope that the public gets to see the bond issue so that we could understand what the money is going to be used for and why it needs to be rushed for February instead of the next election. That could be later on in 2024. Thank you.
Okay. Next question. Regarding the no confidence vote by teachers, would you as a board member meet with teachers to listen to their concerns? Teresa?
Oh, yes. Full disclosure, my daughter is a teacher within the North Kitsap School District. I think we need to understand their perspective. We need to be advocates for our whole community, which includes teachers, which includes the support staff, which includes parents, which includes all of us in the community. And I think the more we can rebuild that open dialogue, ask them what's working, ask them what's not working. Hospitals are similar to education systems. You're going to have WACs, Washington Administrative Codes, that are unfunded trainings that you have to do. They know best how the rubber meets the road on that. So they need to have our ear. We need their input, and we can collaborate and work together for putting students first. Thank you.
Okay, and Beverly?
Oh, well, as you might know, I have been a teacher for many years. And here in North Kitsap, I was part of the teachers union. And I'm telling you, the more we can talk with each other and have the school board come out and meet with us and listen to our concerns, that's how everything goes smoothly. And having teachers on the committees and teachers that opportunities for us to talk with the school board, that's huge, really important.
Okay, and Adam?
Well, yeah, emphatically, yes. The teachers are the eyes and ears, really. They're, like I said, they're the first point of contact. I mean, their lived experience is just hugely invaluable. I mean, I have no doubt that the board and the superintendent, they also see things from a perspective that is valuable and defensible. But we are a partnership. The teachers are, really one part of that triad, and they're an enormous part. And I just want to say, being an educator and being involved in education and the administration during these last few years of this COVID pandemic has been enormously stressful, and everybody involved deserves our thanks and appreciation. And I look forward to a time where things are going to calm down and get a little bit easier for everybody.
Okay, Terri?
When we see a vote of no confidence, and any union in our school district can do a vote as such, I don't think we've done the work that we need to do ahead of time to reach out to them, to understand why it is. I mean, nobody should be blindsided by a vote of no confidence. There should be communication long before that point. Our teachers are so vital to our school system. They are the frontline workers interacting with their kids our students every day. We need to make sure that things are working right for them. So I would do everything in my power to meet with the teachers ahead of time. When I would go into a board meeting and see a room full of red shirts, that would be an immediate alert for me to go and approach those people after the board meeting and ask them what's up and hear their side of the story. Thank you.
Okay, and Bill?
The communication between the teachers and the administration and the school board needs to be happening all the time. The vote of no confidence that happened, and it was a overwhelming majority that voted that way on both the teachers as well as the classified staff unions, shows that the school board and the superintendent are not listening to the teachers or the staff. So what that means is there needs to be new personnel, or at least a hopefully mending of relationships, to be able to listen, understand the differences, the concerns, and then address the actual actions that will fix the problems, not just the symptoms of the problems.
Okay. This is another question that was asked in different ways by the public. What is your stance on banning books in schools that discuss LGBTQ issues and U.S. history relating to slavery? Adam?
Well, that is a very fraught topic. It needs to be handled very delicately. Suffice to say that nobody in America is in favor of having every kind of book that you can get your hands on in a school library. You know, when folks say, hey, I'm against banning books, well, you are for banning some books. It's just, which books are you for banning? Nobody wants Mein Kampf in the library. So I think we need to sort of have standards for what's age appropriate. I think it's always age appropriate for kids to know that there are LGBTQ people and that they have experiences and that they're having real human experiences that you can relate to. In regards to anything graphic, you know, I would think that most people, most normal, your average person might draw the line there. So.
Okay. Terri?
When I was an elementary school student, I had bright freckles across my face. I had stringy hair, and I was very poor with clothes that I rotated through the week. I got harassed horribly at school. I cried all the time. And one day, the librarian handed me a book called Freckle Juice by Judy Blume, who was a banned author at one time. And that book saved my life. That book made me feel that there are people like me, that I wasn't alone, that I could relate to. And that's what we want to make sure teachers, staff members, everyone within the school has the power to select a book, hand that book to a student that needs it, and give them validation and how they feel. So we need to make sure that the people within school can pick the books that help their students. Thank you.
Thanks. Bill?
I believe books need to be age appropriate for whatever topic there may be. Books are very powerful. Kids as well as adults all learn in different ways. So books, as well as other media, can be used in very effective ways to be able to get points across. And again, like Terri mentioned, reinforce the fact that you're not alone. There's other people like you, not exactly, obviously, but that are similar to you in life. And bringing that ability to have that confidence, inspiring document or media is important.
Okay. Teresa?
I think it's a slippery slope when you try to ban books. I think public education is supposed to develop critical thinkers. It has to be age appropriate. And we also have to provide an environment where every child feels validated. And as far as history, history isn't pretty. We have to learn from it. We have to acknowledge that there were problems, but we can't just sterilize and only teach certain things. So we have to support humanity. I think if nothing else, we have to come together and try not to be so divisive in society and honor that person as a caring, kind-hearted person. They may dress differently, they may identify differently, but what do we have in common so we can celebrate their success?
Okay. Beverly?
I agree with Adam that it's a very difficult situation to talk about, but there are books that are age appropriate. The concern I have is not that the book's available in the library, but if we put them out on display and we read them out loud to a captive audience at school, I don't think that's fair.
Okay. All right. We're just about to the end now. That was our last question. And we're going to start with closing statements, and we'll go in the opposite order now. Teresa, you get to go first.
All right, thank you. So I'm going to just make sure I read this statement that I had. So I will seek a board director position that is open-minded. I will seek to understand current issues and concerns while always conducting myself in a way that honors and supports students, faculty, and the residents within North Kitsap School District. I will also dedicate time in which to visit schools to celebrate the successes, listen to the needs, and with your vote, I want you to know that I will always put students first. I'll be inclusive, I'll be collaborative and transparent, and I care about kids. I really do. I'm a good listener, and I love to collaborate, and I don't back down from the tough questions, and I would be able to dedicate a lot of my time to turn the tide, rebuild the trust, so we can feel proud about our achievements. We have a lot of great people. Everybody wants to do the right thing. I believe even the school board that's presently on the seat, they want to put kids first, but there's something that has gotten in the way that the communication has broke down. So I'm all about rebuilding trust in communities and putting our kids first. Thank you so much, and thanks to my fellow colleagues.
Okay, Bill.
I want to thank League of Women Voters as well as the colleagues here on the forum for sharing, providing viewpoints and things along those lines. Hopefully everyone has gathered information about all the candidates that make it so that they can make a better choice. What I will say is, as a board member, I strive for more transparency. I will listen to the community as well as provide accountability by being open, honest about at least my decisions, and hopefully inspire the rest of the board to be the same way. I will always prioritize students. They come first. The teachers are the primary means, but in which these kids get their education. But the community, parents, as well as the staff also have vital roles in doing that. And I look forward to your vote, and thank you for watching the video.
Thanks.
Participating.
Adam?
As the father of two young girls, my interest in their future is paramount. Can't be overstated. In researching about parenting and childhood, which includes authors such as clinical psychologist John Gottman, social psychologists Jonathan Haidt and Jean Twenge, and journalist Lenore Skenazy, I quickly realized that being a kid in 2023, and particularly being a girl, meant facing a world of novel challenges that many parents and teachers may not yet understand. Self-harm among young women, girls, is up 62% since 2009, and anxiety, self-reported levels of anxiety is up 92% in both boys and girls. To confront the data is to realize that good intentions and bad ideas are critically impacting our kids, making them less resilient, less capable, and more depressed than any time in modern history. It's time to repair the culture in our public spaces and institutions. A school is a place for kids to become empowered to test themselves, become resilient, be curious and open-minded, engage with difficult subjects, make face-to-face connections, seek guidance, become who they didn't know they could be, and to be shown their greatest opportunities. Cell phone distraction, the pressure of social media, depression, political polarization, censoriousness, a lack of opportunity to excel, and unfortunately, the threat of danger at school is shrinking that potential for too many of our kids.
Okay, Terri, did I skip over you or have you made your closing statement?
I haven't made it yet. I'll go.
Okay, go. You were supposed to be before Adam, but
I wish to thank the League of Women Voters again for giving me this opportunity tonight. Public school has opened so many doors for my family and for me. With the advantage of trade school, I raised myself up from poverty to security. I provide for my family and created a pathway of success for dozens of employees over the years. Vocational school can be the right fit for many of our students, and we should encourage these options as well as military service in college. My goal is to continue giving back to our schools, to help all students and parents get the best education possible, and for our staff to love coming to work each day. One of our elementary school principals had a mission statement. Every day is going to be a great day for all that walk through the door. She created a culture of inclusion with an excitement of learning. She valued every individual for their unique contributions to the school. The school became a community, and the community became a family. It takes time and dedication to create an environment like this, but it is possible for every school. As a North Kitsap School District family, we had this, and I will do my part in creating this for all students. I am hardworking with a track record of following through. I have the heart for this job. I hope that I have earned your vote tonight because I wish to serve all. Please vote, and please tell your friends to vote. Thank you.
thanks. Beverly?
Thank you. This is a real important time for people to get out and vote because these midterm elections oftentimes don't get the attention they should. In closing, I want to highlight two things. First, public schools serves a diverse community of learners, and they require innovative solutions. We should focus on how we're similar and not emphasize the differences. Having students in my class for 2 years in a row made a huge difference in how we interacted with each other. They were respectful and generous, honest and friendly. That was the norm because we were more like a family. The parents knew me well, and casual conversations about the child's progress was natural. I knew each child's strengths, and I knew when to step back and when to give them more time to grow. Secondly, staff, along with board members, used to be responsive to parents' concerns, and they still need to be. After all, they know their children best. Access to schools has been severely restricted for health and safety reasons. So we need to come up with some new ways to have those casual, respectful conversations about children's academic progress and behavior. Inquiries from students and parents need to be addressed promptly, but teachers need time in their day set aside for that purpose.
Thank you. Okay, we're out of time now. But I just want to tell all of your friends and family and neighbors, go to lwv-kitsap.org in a couple of days, and they can watch this video if they weren't able to get here tonight. And I want to say something at the end of this forum, and I've said it so many times over past forums. You all make me proud. I'm proud that you've stepped up to run. I'm proud of how you conducted yourself during this forum and how many times you agreed or a little bit disagreed, but you were respectful. Thank you so much, and have a good rest of the evening. Go have a glass of wine or something.